The following is brought to you by Element 14, the electronic design community where you can connect and collaborate with top engineers from around the world. Join now at element14.com.
Welcome to Element 14 Presents. I'm Benjamin Heckendorn. Today's build is brought to us by Sean and Connor Miller. Before you had that cool clock crane, what are you building this time?
This time we're building a smart trike.
Now, the idea behind that, of course you saw in our previous build, my mom has MS, so that makes it hard for her to get upstairs, get up hills on a bike, but a trike is also pretty hard. So we thought maybe we could make a trike that has some really cool safety features to it.
Oh, and it's going to be powered?
Yes, it'll be powered with a 550 watt motor, so pretty strong. There's a lot of energy in that. But to do that, we have to keep it safe. So if it's going down a hill, we don't want the motor staying on at all. If it were to tilt, we don't want the motor staying on.
Are you going to use a bunch of sensors to accomplish that?
Yes, we're going to use a MKR1000 to receive all the sensors. We're going to have a proximity sensor in the front of it, Hall effect sensors on the wheels and on the crank. That way we know if the pedaling has stopped. And basically all that input will come in. It'll be data logged to an SD card, and but also instantaneously it'll interlock to keep things safe.
Well, this sounds like a really cool project.
Yeah, it is, but it's also a heck of a lot of work. So, Connor, let's get started.
Amazing hacks. Inspired designs. Each week, Element 14 Presents brings you innovative projects using electronics, engineering, and more.
Let's outline this project. The goal of it is to make a smart motor-driven trike with a bunch of smart safety features. First, we're going to add a 36-volt electric DC motor and throttle. We can buy that off the shelf. It'll have front collision detection to auto-kill the motor. We'll also auto-kill the motor if the rider pulls the brake. We'll log distance and speed with wheel rotation sensors. If the trike is going down a hill or has a suspicious tilt, we'll kill the motor as well. While we're at it, we'll add in a bike alarm, calorie burner, a garage door opener, and a trip data logger. Let's get to it.
In this build, we're going to use the kit they gave us in the Element 14 community.
In the Design for a Cause challenge, they gave us a MKR1000 IoT bundle, plus a lot of other cool safety things.
Let's take a look at what's in the box and then we'll start the conversion. They do a good job covering the basics of prototyping. They got a breadboard, bunch of resistors, various LEDs, got diodes, switches, potentiometers.
They also have various connectors, a buzzer, and even a servo and a motor.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like a motor you apply voltage to it, it'll spin one direction. If you reverse the leads, it'll spin the other. But a servo, it actually has a potentiometer built into it, and it's geared down so that when the motor spins, potentiometer let it know its position. It has a little chip in there. You can tell exactly where to stop. And since it's geared down, it just rotates slowly, so it's great for positioning things. Pretty awesome.
There are some cool sensors in it as well. A tilt sensor, temperature, and photo transistors.
They also have this ultrasonic sensor that allows us to check distance to objects. I think this one's good for like near 10 feet or so.
They also have an SD card shield. And then, of course, the MKR1000 itself.
This thing's pretty cool. It has Wi-Fi on it. Of course, we have this board where we can get some SD card action going. Does everything that an Arduino would do. Got a reset on it. It has its built-in USB, so we can just hook it right up and program it. And a small form factor. I love these side labels on the pins. That comes in very convenient, particularly once you get a case around it and you're trying to fit up a pin or something. Okay, while he's outside, I'm going to modify this wiring to take some different connectors that I have here. I got on the Newark site. That will ensure we don't accidentally install the motor power in reverse. So the first thing I need to do is cut off the old wires. I'll use this crimper to crimp it together.
See that look? That's the look when you realize you can stop, you can go, but you can't do both. Walnut, we have a problem.
What's wrong? Whoa! Why are you so sweaty?
Because it's 96 out there. Why are you in a Snuggie?
Because I got chilly.
Alright, just put on some big boy pants and meet me in the garage. So you see here, there just really isn't enough room to fit all the band brake and the cassette and the motor room to it.
Okay, yeah, I do see that. So what we'll do, let's go ahead and just get rid of this band brake. That band brake was horrible anyway. Instead, we're going to use a dual piston hydraulic caliper.
And while we're there, we'll use a limit switch on the brake to interlock the motor through the Maker 1000.
You finish up the mechanical side and then we'll take it for a test drive. The main thing is we got to make it safer. Your mom won't ride it.
I'm going to use the old band brake drum to serve as the hub for my new disc brake. We want to install the new brake as close to the wheel as possible. Putting it on the other side could result in twisting the axle. Since we are offsetting the wheels by an inch or so, we'll have to see how this affects the ride quality.
Connor did a great job converting the trike to motor power. Using a freewheel on the motor drive shaft hub, you can pedal it, you can motor it, or do both. Trike is still dumb and dangerous. What we need is someone to test it mechanically that has cat-like reflexes.
So that means it's time to put on my CTDFs.
What are those?
Crash Test Dummy Fatigues.
All right. You know it's 96 outside.
You're right. I'll just wear a helmet.
And this is why we wanted to test it. Another biker came towards us and Connor went over to the shoulder. His back wheel ended up going off into the grass.
And you can see it there. I kept holding the brake and the throttle at the same time. Watch.
Slow down. Yeah. So this is where the Maker 1000 will come in. If you hit the brake, the motors will cut off. If you stop pedaling, the motors will cut off. If it tilts or goes down a hill or goes too fast, the motors will cut off. We'll design in all these safety features into the Maker 1000. That way this trike will be safe. I hope you like code, because here comes about 400 lines of it. Let me show you my process for prototyping. First thing I like to do in the comments at the top is list out all the GPIO. That way I can keep track of what's being connected and I'll know if I run out of pins. Maybe I can optimize from there before I go into Eagle to draw up the schematic. So you see here first we have A0, analog 0. This is going to be used actually as a digital output, and it's going to be the main one that controls killing the motor. A1 is going to be the OK button that's on the little HMI or human machine interface. When you hit OK, that's the pin that'll get pulled down and trigger an interrupt. And we'll also have one, of course, for the menu button. A3 will be the ultrasonic sensor trigger. That's the ultrasonic wave that gets pushed out. I got 4, 5, and 6. They're reserved for the accelerometer. D0 is going to be an interrupt. That'll pick up when the crank or the pedals come around each time. It'll pick that up, and on the interrupt, it'll count the pedal and then make sure it is pedaling. Speed sensor, that's to make sure it's going fast enough. If neither of these are satisfied, that motor is going to get killed. D2 is a little beeper, the piezo. When you're using the menu, it'll give you a little beep to let you know your input's being received. The LCD is going to be on D3 and D5, 6, and 7. SD card, it always uses D4, so that little SD shield we have consumes 4, so I needed to rearrange some code there to make that happen. It also uses D8, 9, and 10, and then you have the LCD, a couple more pins there. There's your echo again. And then D14 will be to trigger an alarm circuit, an independent circuit. So depending on how loud we want the alarm to be, we could do something simple, but most likely we'll pull it in with a relay so we can get some heavier current or voltage to that alarm. So the siren won't be a giant train whistle, although that would be pretty hilarious, but it will be somewhat loud. Now, the way I go about code with Arduino is I go out and get the standalone examples for every sensor or display that I'm using, and I simply start converting the setup and loops to just independent functions called like setup ultrasonic or setup LCD. That way I can bring all the code together and immediately get some working usable code, and then when I get down into this particular code setup, I'll call those functions as needed. So you've got some pretty straightforward stuff happening here, making some pins outputs and inputs. I clear the LCD screen, then get the SD card and get the interrupts all ready to rock and roll. And then the loop, pretty short loop. That's because there's some major handoffs here. When you hit the menu button, it's going to go to this function, which will then have control. The loop will just be paused waiting for that function to finish. But otherwise, it's just looping through. The interrupts are doing their magic. If anything happens that hits our criteria for safety, where we'd want to shut down the motor, that's going to start happening here. As you see these timers for pedaling, it's making sure the speed's going. And then you see here these variables, these are those volatile variables that get changed in the interrupt that will trigger the interlock. So any of these get hit, that sucker's gonna go into interlock and then shut off the motor and put a statement onto the LCD screen. If you want to see how I set up the interrupts, here you go. Attaching the interrupt to each pin. And then for the pedal, see that one, every time the pedal comes around, the magnet hits the switch, we get a count, and then we push that timer. We got to crank, otherwise we're not going to allow the motor to assist. And there's your speed. One little neat trick here, top speed, if it's always tracking for the top speed, so if it surpasses the top speed, it's going to take time to write that out to the SD card. When significant events occur, the SD card gets written to capture that data so we can review it in an Excel spreadsheet. Here's where the menu gets hit, and that want beep variable allows a beep sound as it loops around. And here we are shooting proximity. So there you go. That's how I approach the system. The code compiles, so now all we got to do is test it. So here I'm testing the tilt. That is working. It also checks to see if you're going down a hill too fast. Now I'm simulating pedaling. So you got a wheel speed sensor and a crank sensor. Those interlocks are capturing and counting and doing the math to get the miles per hour. There, the interlock hit because I was no longer pedaling. Gonna open the garage door. There's connecting to the Wi-Fi and hitting IFTTT, and it worked. You can set the alarm. If the trike tilts now, or someone tries to pedal it or something like that, it'll sound the alarm. Of course, it'll be louder buzzer than that. So other things that are going on, we're writing to the SD, the speed, top speed, the distance traveled, time traveled, how many times we interlocked. We can also disable the interlocks just in case we have a sensor that's bad that's causing us trouble. And that is it. We're ready to make a permanent circuit board and then mount it onto the trike. Okay, starting over here in Autodesk Fusion, I first like to make the parts that physically exist already that I'm going to build around. So I'm extruding out one of the tubes that we're going to attach this Hall effect sensor adapter to. Right here, I am making the Hall effect sensor itself, and that way I can use it as a cutting tool to place it within the adapter here, or the bracket I should call it. Here we go. Now I'm going to put a little cable guide above it, that way I can continue any cables on through if I needed to, or just to have the cable land right at the adapter. And then I save all my fillets and chamfers for the end. Now I'm going in to make the lid for the box here. I already made the box, designed it out. So we're just putting some rectangles on the existing box, and then now putting some guidelines here to know where the cutouts will be. So I can just take a rectangle and extrude it out and then set it to cut. That'll be where the LCD display goes. And this will be where the top of the Maker 1000 can be accessed. And to score some points with the wife, I'm going to put what I always put on my build somewhere, usually a little less conspicuous, and that's pretty much, we're ready to go print. Here we have the ultrasonic proximity sensor. We've coded it to interlock the motor if anything is within 10 feet of the front of the trike. I'm amazed how cheap this thing is. It has 4 conductors: voltage, ground, trigger, and echo. Since it echoes back at 5 volts, I had to make a voltage divider to step it down to 3.3 volts for the MKR1000. Here's the pedal sensor. We soldered a Hall effect sensor to the cabling back to the MKR1000. When the rare earth magnet sweeps by, it counts and times the pedaling. We coded that to get the calories burned and also to interlock the motor if the rider stops pedaling. This brake upgrade is awesome. This is the hydraulic actuator for the dual piston caliper. When it actuates, it trips this limit switch soldered back to the MKR1000. It's coded to interlock the motor as well. This is the wheel rotation sensor. Just like the pedal sensor, we soldered a Hall effect sensor to the cabling back to the MKR1000. This gives us a count of rotation over time. In turn, we can log distance and also track speed, of course. The Hall effect sensor switches when this rare earth magnet sweeps by. It's held tightly in place with the 3D printed bracket we made. Remember, you can get all these design files on the Element 14 community. You can see we're going 0 miles per hour. We just got a little tilt. We're not pedaling. We're 4 feet from an object in front of the trike, and it is interlocked right now. The motor would not go with the thumb throttle. That's because many of these interlocks are tripped. The only one not tripped really is the brake. Made these DuPont pin connectors come in over here. We soldered in our power supply. Takes it from, this power supply is good from 36 volts, taking it all the way down to the 5 volts we needed. We have a potentiometer to set the contrast on the LCD. Here we have our tilt sensor, and what that does, if we go down a steep hill, it will interlock the motor as well because we don't want to get going too fast. You can kind of see when I move the box that it's showing a higher number or a lower number when I tilt it back the other way. We still have the bike alarm and the garage door opener in the code. Let's see if we can demonstrate the working features and take it for a spin. So now we got to try the pedal sensor. Go ahead and crank the pedal. You can go backwards with it. And right there, it's sweeping by the Hall effect sensor. Go ahead and stop pedaling. Okay, so then we also have the speed. Go ahead and spin that wheel over there. We have the speed sensor. Yeah, it also has a magnet pickup on it. And we see here the miles per hour. Still showing lock though, because you got to be pedaling and traveling at least 2 miles per hour. There you go. Get them both going. And if this tilt right here was off, it would trip it as well. Does that when you're going down a hill so it doesn't go too fast. And there it went locked because it's in the non-pedaling state. So the only other features left here that we got so far, we got the garage door. And that is talking to that device, which is a hack on a garage door opener. Okay, let's turn the alarm on. Go ahead and spin that wheel over there and we'll trigger the alarm. There it goes. So the wheel moving. Let's do a few other alarms. Crank the pedal. And then I can, of course, just disable the interlock. So right now when I hit the throttle, it'll actually go. Now it won't because it's interlocked. Hey, it's Mom.
Y'all ready for me to try the trike?
You know it's 96 degrees out here.
Okay, I'll wear something else then. Last one up the hill is a rotten egg.
You thinking what I'm thinking?
Yeah, we should have built 3 of them.
Yeah, maybe she can tow us.
Well, that's all we have for today. Have you ever built anything with machinery safety in mind?
Have you ever made an assistive technology? If so, let us know on the Element 14 community at element14.com/presents. See you next time.